This is day 19. I'm Natalie Pace, and this is our 21 Days to a Healthier, Wealthier, More Beautiful You. And today's mantra is about sanctuary home and sacred partnerships. So the first thing is your home a sanctuary? There's a saying that every soul has her geography. So when I'm in Santa Monica, I'm pretty happy. I'm definitely someone who likes living close to the ocean, and it really is my happy place. So that's a lot better for me than living in a concrete jungle. And that's something that we have to be honest with ourselves about. Like a lot of times we're just buying a place based on where we think we can afford it. We move way out to the suburbs and we realize we're spending so much more money on gasoline or commuting, right? And that might not be our happy place at all. And we might say, well, that's the sacrifice I make so that my kids can do this or that, or I have more money, or it costs less, or it was too expensive in the city. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you're going to solve it overnight. But what I am saying is your home truly a sanctuary? And if not, what is it that would be? Be honest, right? Like be honest with where you would like to live, because maybe you can actually create that if you're honest with yourself rather than just justifying that you can't do it because of circumstances right now. Second thing, and again, it will take a path, right? Have the imagination to say, well, my sanctuary home would really be here or doing this or that. We've talked a little bit about having at least 10-year vision, and how people who keep the wealth in the family for centuries have 100 years planned in advance. So, how can you plan to get into a sanctuary home? A place that feeds your soul. And it's really interesting because let's say, for instance, that you just think, oh, well, I'm going to downsize and I'm going to make less money. So I know somebody who is a very vibrant 40-year-old and she wanted to save a lot of money. And so she moved to Peru. But the minute you go there, all of a sudden, your ability to earn money is a different level. So she was the most expensive Airbnb. I actually stayed at her place, and it was $50 a night. And you could get a lot of other places that were $20 a night. It's not like she could charge more for it. So your ability, you kind of get stuck in that. And you better understand, are these my people? Is what are my income possibilities? Yes, I could reduce expenses, but is it going to be something I enjoy waking up and doing every day? I know that this sounds like it's going into, and it's not just retirement planning for those people that want to downsize. It's also what's the next home going to be if you are in a starter home? And either one of these things, we can have a free video conference on it. So email info@nataliepace.com if you want to go deeper on how to get to your sanctuary home. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about sacred partnerships and sacred communities. So, I wanted to talk about something, and I'm going to call it no freebies. And it's something that actually came up at the last retreat we had at Restormal. Um, and I really want everybody to understand that when we stay on a private estate in the biggest place in the community, we are the rich folk. Even if we're not rich, we are the rich folk. We're the richest folks there. And we have to start thinking about the community the way that rich people do. Rich people don't want freebies in their community from the people because they want the community to actually be thriving. They want everybody in the community to be earning a livable wage and to be enjoying their life. So, I've talked about it a lot in other venues. You don't want to drive through a ghetto in, an armored vehicle to your private estate and pray that people don't come in there and hurt you. You want to be able to go into that village and have a meal and have everybody come up and say, "Hey, how are you? Thank you." And part of that has to do with that idea of a sacred community. So, in a sacred community, you do not want to have, and even if you're not the richest person in the community, you do not want to have freebies. because you want that person to serve you the next time. You want them to stay in business. You want them to like you as a customer. Um, it's funny because I mean, I have a webmaster who's been with me since the inception of this project. I have, video editors. I have a lot of people who work on our team. And part of it is that I try to pay them quickly exactly what they charge, or maybe even a little bit more. So my hairdresser always finds a way to squeeze me in. There may come a time when you need a favor from one of these people. And the last thing they remember is that they offered you something for free and you took it instead of refusing and saying, no, 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 I really want you to do well. And I want you to pick up the phone the next time I call. I'm paying for this. It's different, right? So that's what I want us to think about when we think about our sanctuary home. Be honest with ourselves and maybe start having the imagination and the game plan for the next project, even if it's going to take us 8 to 10 years to get there. But also, what is our sacred community? How can we give back to the community a little bit more? Now, it's interesting because I've talked about some of the projects that have been born at our Restormo Manor House Adventures. And one of them is Gratitude Village in Colorado. And the person that's the founder and the executive director, her name is Susie Schride. She knows that the only way she's going to build her co-housing sustainable village project is with a community, a sacred community, and she's building it. So that was, she's come a long way. And in fact, I think we have a testimonial on the homepage at nataliepace.com right now. If it's not still there when you come to our website, we do change out those videos frequently. Just email info@nataliepace.com so you can see her testimonial because she started from a place where she wasn't feeling prosperous or abundant at all and then went through this exact coaching series multiple times and is now the executive director and the founder of a community that will be a sacred community when it's all realized. And they're on their way. And it's not just her, she's just leading the pack. All right, that's enough to get started, but I do encourage you to check out Gratitude Village in Colorado and Susie Schride and watch her testimonial because again, a lot of it of where she is today, and she's the first to admit it, is as a result of this 21-day coaching series. But it's also all of the things that we're talking about here about leaning into the positivity, about seeing a challenge and creating the solution, and about building a community to help you do it. See you tomorrow.